Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. We won't be doing
Greetings.
much role-playing today. We'll just be dealing with the switch over of GM, which is not a normal thing in Burning Wheel, but it's something we're going to do just so we have a chance to see how everybody has their own style and how that style affects how they GM Burning Wheel.
Yes.
So, Sith, you've been an amazing GM. I was too intimidated by Burning Wheel to want to GM it myself. But now I feel like you've shown me the way, even if I don't always agree. It's definitely... I'm definitely able now to have a real idea of how the system works, and I would not have that without you, so thank you.
Yes, same here.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe that our format, I will be, and correct me if I'm wrong, I may have misheard, that we are going to be first doing the trade, all of the voting, basically, of that various things. And then we're going to be talking about the system, and then we'll see if we want to do anything else. Is that true?
Yeah,
Basically.
sort of. So, Burning Wheel has a few mechanics where at the end of a scenario or adventure, which we've just hit, there's a couple artha awarded, and there's the huge trade vote thing. And so we're going to kind of take this session to think about those, but also, like, at this point, we've done 6 sessions of our own campaign, and we had 3 in a pre-made session, so we've had like 9 or 10 sessions of Burning Wheel at this point, and so everyone sort of has a basic idea of, or has their own take on Burning Wheel right now, and so we're kind of going to discuss some of that, and what are the mechanics do we like, what is it that's weird or something we don't get yet, a little conversation like that, and then afterwards, after last session, I gave Zen a GM access to the Roll20 campaign, so he could start prepping for that, and we could start figuring out where we want to go. Like, is our premise we had for the original unctuousness or whatever of our campaign still true? Do we want to alter that? That type of thing. We can have that sort of, it's sort of a revisit session, right? Like, we're just sort of, are we still interested in what we thought we were interested 2 months ago? So, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm still kind of looking through one last thing, if you guys had any comments about that. Sorry.
I don't think I have any comments. I think everything... We've talked about this quite a bit. I think we're all on the same page.
I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, even though that was quick, that was enough time for me to figure out my last thing.
Sweet. Okay.
Nice.
So as far as artha is concerned, at the end of let me read it right. At the end of a scenario, adventure, or campaign, there's a workhorse and MVP award, and these are not granted by the GM. Once the scenario is concluded, all participating players vote for whom the workhorse of the scenario was and whom the MVP was. The GM gets 1 vote like all the other players. And these are for persona points. So the workhorse, being the workhorse character that is the most relied upon in a given scenario, is worth a persona point. This is for the mundane stuff, such as having that piece of gear to make a scene go, having that skill to get the other characters safely through danger, and just generally slaving away behind the scenes to make it all work. Do you guys want to talk about this, or do you want to hear about the MVP? Or we could sort of discuss them together.
We're on Workhorse now, so we might as well discuss it. So what do you two think?
First, I'd like to ask, do we want to be gentlemen and not vote for ourselves?
There's only 3 of us.
Sith can also vote.
Yeah.
Sith can vote? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Having that piece of gear to make a scene go, having that skill to get the other character safely through danger, and just generally slaving away behind the scenes to make it all work.
This is where it would be so helpful to have a wide audience to say, "You guys handle
It's
it."
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is hard.
Just straw poll it.
Like,
I have a nomination for workhorse.
go for it.
I'm okay.
I would nominate Ernest.
I was
Because,
tied between myself and Lord Edwin.
Yeah.
right? Well, also, like, you're the guy who are like, oh, someone needs to cut wood for 4 days. Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Someone
sure.
needs to go do this other thing, like like it was saying in here, right? This is for the mundane stuff,
Yeah.
or and the last part of that, generally slaving away behind the scenes. Like you did a lot of stuff that was sort of like off screen or that removed you from a scene,
That's true.
but still progressed
Yeah.
later on. And so for that, I would nominate Ernest for workhorse. But like it said, like I'm only one vote here. If you guys
Right.
want to nominate a different character, go for it.
I honestly can't
No,
decide.
And I can't vote.
You could nominate someone else if you think someone is more deserving than you for workhorse.
With what you just said, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that logic holds. I think Ernest gets the vote from me.
Sure, I'm fine. I honestly can't decide. I think I worked quite a bit, but I also think that Nico, actually, with all his stuff, with his communicating off screen with the organization and the work that all those traits he did to know stuff that we wouldn't know, and the fact that he stayed at the place.
That's true.
For 3 months.
3 months of guard duty.
Yeah.
All those things make me think that Nico is just as deserving. So I will be fine with Ernest getting it, because I don't think Ernest is less deserving.
I do think Ernest actively did more. However, I think Nico just kind of rode the wave.
Actively,
because you still it was still a job for you. You still made money.
So I guess here's the distinguishing factor, right? So if we go to the next one, MVP, being voted the most valuable player for a scenario owns a persona point. MVP is for the character who drives the story to its conclusion, the character who shines in the last moments, and about whom everyone agrees, damn, we couldn't have done it without him. And so I think some of your arguments, Golden, were more of like, well, I kind of thought Nico did a lot, but some of it was like, this is how we got some information we wouldn't have gotten and stuff. And I think that is more of an argument for this award, rather than the guy who just slaved away and did a lot of the mundane stuff.
I abstain from this conversation.
Maybe.
Right. I agree. I think that definitely Zen, your character, is a runner for MVP, more so than Workhorse.
Yeah. So at this point, I think Workhorse is going to Ernest. Or are we agreed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Ernest, you get a persona point for being in the workforce.
Okay.
And make a note somewhere on your character sheet that you got that award, because it might be interesting to look back after we do a couple of these and see like who,
if I'm still the workhorse or Okay. And now MVP.
Right. And so I'm not exactly sure if, like in Mirror Shades, where MVP and Workhorse cannot be assigned to the same person, I don't see where it explicitly says that here, but I'm working off that assumption, where Ernest can't also be in the running for MVP now.
I'm fine with that.
So really the conversation is, it was Nico or Lord Edwin, the MVP.
I don't really want to vote for myself, so I'm going to vote for Nico.
They both are decent contenders for it. I mean,
here's a question:
translating and stuff, found a lot of information. Nico
wasn't it
pushed to get the job done? You know,
wasn't it Edwin who found out that throwing the orbs at the ice made it dissolve it? Because that saved us months.
That was your idea, Ernest.
That was my idea as a player, but my character.
But it was Edwin's role that triggered it.
It was Edwin that pushed for it too.
It was like a history roll, I think.
Yeah, and that is massive. Like that is huge.
I feel like I pushed in every session to do something.
Yeah, I think it's very close, but my vote is for Lord Edwin for MVP.
So I don't want to vote for myself, so I'm voting for Nico.
Well, you can.
I mean, in a group this small, I would say you can vote for yourself because.
Right. Okay, fine. I will vote for myself.
It doesn't say that you can't for this, just for trait votes.
I really liked Nico's roleplay, but I feel like it took him a few sessions to push back against what I was trying to do. If that makes sense.
Sure.
I would probably cast my vote for Edwin as well. While Nico was present and did some heavy lifting, I don't think he pushed. I don't think he pushed in a significant way that advanced the goal, other than saying we have to do something about this and push the mission forward. You know.
Okay. Well, that's majority. That's 3 for Lord Edwin. So.
Thank you.
Soda MVP. Cool. So I think that's all the scenario level artha.
Was there any other thing that we might want to vote for that we just didn't remember to?
Well, various categories.
We did right skill, right time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that a few times.
Yeah, that happened.
Cool.
So I mean, we could vote on embodiment, mold breaker.
I don't think either of those came up.
I think those happen when they happen. I don't think anyone.
Yeah. I don't think we discussed it last time.
Automatically gets it.
I don't think we even considered them last time.
We didn't really consider them
for last session. So let's
however,
consider them
looking
now
back,
for last session.
Sure. Looking back,
I don't really think any of them apply, but I don't think we talked about it.
Yeah.
Embodiment's the closest, but I don't think any of us got quite there yet.
Right. No one's definitely done mold breaker.
Not yet.
But as far as embodiment, like the last sentence, this is a tough word to get as a player. Really must go above and beyond in his role playing. So I don't think anyone's sort of done that.
Yeah. Basically, I'm not gonna say that embodiment is on the table until someone here starts actually crying or.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but it starts in its description for that award as you capture the mood of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything sort of revolves around that. And everyone's like, yes, this is what's happening. And that while it doesn't involve crying and
I feel like I came close a couple.
It's a lot of people are like, well, this is a great vibe. This is amazing for what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I don't think that happened yet.
But not last session, no.
And it's going to be a hard thing to do while you're balancing learning the system versus playing your character.
Yeah.
And also while we balance rotating characters. That's going to make things slightly difficult. Which means we might not just get that very often, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, it even states it's a very rare thing, so. And rare to me, in a long form system like Burning Wheel means every 12, maybe.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Fine. Unless there was other questions about Artha, I think we can move over to the trait vote.
Okay.
I think so.
I open my list
Cool.
of traits.
So I'll run this down with the trait vote. At the end of a campaign or extended adventure, the GM and the players nominate characters to receive new traits. Going around the table, players discuss each character who participated in the adventure. Possible traits are suggested for all the characters. After all characters have been discussed, players vote on the traits suggested for plural, suggested for each character. The owning player doesn't vote for his own traits. A unanimous decision grants the trait. Character, call-in, and die traits can be awarded. So, there we go with that. So I guess we sort of figure out, just go around. Does someone want
Do you want to do it
Go
per
first, or-
player or per character?
I think we'll just let's do it per character. Like we talk about what each character did one at a time, and then all of us pitch in with ideas about traits
Sure.
and stuff.
So I would like to do it so that both of us, the non-player characters, will all give a suggestion before the player does. That way the player can highlight what he thinks was forgotten.
Sure.
Does that make sense? All right.
to, I guess?
So I would like to nominate Nico for Affinity for Falsehood. I think he used
Sorry, I
lies.
didn't actually hear what you said.
Affinity for Falsehood.
Affinity for falsehood? Okay.
I think he used lies at every step of the way, even when he wasn't lying to the party, he was lying to somebody else. And even when he wasn't lying, he was using half-truths, I think. Or even
When
letting
was
on
he-
to know that stuff he really didn't.
When did he, other than the end, when did he lie? You're muted, Zen.
Oh. The only problem I have with that, as the player, I've only rolled falsehood once.
Right.
Every
I,
other
was,
time it might have helped
forked it in
skills.
a lot.
I had a suggestion that is similar to this, but not a die trait.
Yeah,
I
if you
was
want to
thinking,
lower it a little bit.
yeah, I was going to give him a character trait of devious, which
I think that
while
would be
it's not specific to falsehood, there is sort of like in my mind, Nico has sort of been having like this sort of like shady, shifty
Right.
thing going
Vibe
throughout.
to
That's sort of
him, yeah.
been like undertoned, and giving him like a devious trait to work with, I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
I also wrote down evasive.
Invasive?
Evasive.
Evasive. It's hard to hear you, Golden, at least to me.
Sorry. Do you guys want to restart the call?
Will that help us? Who's
It
hosting?
might. I am.
That might help.
I'll recall. We should be
Okay.
fine. If I don't think my internet will crash.
Are we
All
back?
right. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Let me just check my
Okay.
my volume settings.
Okay.
Oh wow, the mic
Is
is a
this
lot
better? Like this? Is this better?
It's a lot better.
I'm not. Okay, I now
Yeah.
see Zen. I still don't see Golden.
Okay.
And it looks like I'm calling my own phone, which I can't answer
I
because
don't
it broke.
understand why you guys don't see me.
Yeah, there's no video. For
Try
you.
unplugging and replugging your webcam, except you're using a laptop, so you can't, can you?
Actually, I am not using a laptop.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
That worked when I tried it last time for me.
Let me. I'm not even using a webcam.
That would be why we can't see your webcam.
No, that's not why you can't see my webcam. I'm actually using XSplit, and I'm using XSplit's webcam to rebroadcast my webcam to you guys and the stream.
Neat. Maybe Skype doesn't like that. I don't know.
It worked before. Like,
Yeah.
I can see myself on my screen, which is why I'm really confused why you guys can't see it.
We're just getting the spinning circle.
Yeah, well, right now I
don't
turned
get
off.
the circle
turned it
anymore.
off. Anyway, I was thinking evasive also fits what Sith said. Evasive is like he's been secretive, if not outright lying. He's been going off and doing his own things. He's not been having counsel with the group about what he does, for the most part.
I like devious better. I think that fits him better.
Okay.
The reason being that evasive itself is a very passive trait in terms of when things come to him, that's how he deals with it. Devious is a lot more seems to portray him and Nico in a more active role, going out and achieving his own goals through nefarious means, which he does.
You guys are painting him in a horrible light here. I mean,
so I would like to vote child
feel free to
sacrificer.
I feel like
comment on your
evasive
own
is not very
character.
negative.
Nico, what were you thinking of adding?
I didn't really have anything particular in mind. I'm just the situation dictated that he be secretive, but not necessarily underhanded about it. He was just not being. I mean, and no one ever asked, too. That's why I would.
Yeah, that is true.
That's why I would rule out evasive, because he didn't evade anything. He was never confronted.
Well,
and the one time there was a confrontation, it turned into a duel of wits, and everyone almost killed each other.
Yes.
So
there's another basically synonym rather for devious, which is cunning, that it has a less negative undertone. What do you feel about that?
I don't feel like he was that active with his cunning, honestly.
Right.
I feel it
I
when
guess
he fought the two horsemen and soldiers, he was very cunning regarding that. He killed one, ran away, got range, killed the other one.
In combat tactics, he's using range and cover. He has to be like that.
That's still cunning. Cunning is basically just smarts plus survival in a sort of way. Pick and choose your fights, and that's precisely how he won that fight, by running when he was supposed to run and not.
Isn't that a phrase though, right? Cunning and guile. So I don't quite remember what the definition of guile is, but
according to this, it's sly, cunning, intelligence. So part of the
guile is
words.
Guile is more social, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and
right, and so with my devious, I was assuming more social stuff rather than all the combat, which I had completely forgotten about.
Okay.
Nico did the vast majority of the combat, I think, with his bow.
Right.
I mean, Ernest did a little bit with base stuff, but he was actually fairly active combat-wise. So I don't know if there was a trait or something we wanted to talk about with that. But
something that we didn't mention it mentions in the book is that when you're looking at giving traits, you should look at the more artha spent and stuff like that to determine the power of the trait. So if you spend a shitload of artha on stealthy per se, it could end up being a die trait.
Right.
Easier than if you were just hiding in a bush for half the time.
I will say the one thing with that is that a lot of that is carryover from a previous edition of Burning Wheel, where there was a lot more mechanical stuff with that. We don't have to do that so much. The artha stuff you're talking about, in my mind, as the GM right now, is useful for the player to say, look, I spent X amount of persona on this, signifying my desire to be blah, for nominating a new trait or saying this character trait should totally be a die trait now. Look at what I've been doing with it, So yes, it's a good point to make. But to that end,
so that's the second part of the discussion.
Yeah. And it's a transition for Nico's character also, I think, because you haven't talked in Zen at all about if you were thinking of a new trait or something that you would want to use more mechanically, or something based off your beliefs that you might want to make more known.
Yeah. I've been trying to find a trait that sort of embodies mission-oriented. Because, like, all of my goals for the past few weeks have been mission-oriented.
Yeah.
You know.
There might be, like, driven. I'm trying to remember if that's like an actual trait.
I think it's... Yes, it is. It's a call-on.
Yeah, driven is one I wrote down.
Okay, yeah, this trait is a call-on for one skill that is related to one of the goals listed in the character's beliefs.
Perfect.
Choose the skill before play starts.
Yep.
Okay, so if you... Yeah.
So there is a distant goal which drives this character on.
Before play starts? So it's every session?
I think that's something we would have to decide as a group.
Okay.
I think if the beliefs can change, then yeah, you
that
probably
actually makes
would
sense.
have to.
Otherwise, yeah.
Right.
Like, I want to use my stealth in this thing that doesn't make any sense. Like, cook a very good meal for my wife-to-be.
Right. So yeah, you can feel free to argue for driven. You can nominate yourself for that, and then we would vote for both devious and driven.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like that's the part of the theme of the trait we're discussing, though.
You really broke up there. I didn't get you.
Yeah, neither did I.
So I don't really feel like driven, like the attributes that made you driven, it's the same things that made us propose the other traits.
Well,
like
they are
evasive.
But
they're
both
different
Nico.
aspects of
Right.
Nico's.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, they can both, well, they're both up for vote.
Sure, so
What
the
else?
trait I am proposing is evasive.
Evasive? Okay.
Okay. Did we want to do all the players before voting, or did we want to do each and then vote on each of those?
Let's just do it by the characters. I think that will be easier because we can get in the headspace of every character.
Okay.
Time.
So here we go. After all characters have been discussed, the players vote on their traits suggested for each character. The owning player doesn't vote. A unanimous decision grants the trait. Character, call-on, and die traits can be awarded. Okay. So, for the character trait, evasive, who would it? Is anyone voting for that?
I'm going to vote for it.
Okay. I was not going to.
Okay.
I will
voting
also
against
vote
it.
for it.
Because, so that was not unanimous.
Okay.
The one I suggested, devious.
Yeah, are we doing a limit of just one trait? Or not? No?
No.
Okay.
Each person can nominate one, but if, there's a unanimous vote for all of those, all of them are given.
Okay.
I can't really vote for that one because I don't think he was actually trying to... I mean, it hasn't such a negative connotation that I don't think applies here.
Okay. I vote for it, but it's not unanimous.
Okay. And then the last one, the call-on trait. Was it call-on or die trait? I can't remember. Call-on.
Call-on.
For driven.
Yep.
I will agree with driven.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about it. Could you reread it one more time, Zen? If you're still there.
Okay. Yeah. There is a distant goal which drives this character on. Something burns in his mind that will make all his suffering, hardship, and pain worth it in the end. This trait is a call-on for one skill that is related to one of the goals listed in the character's beliefs. Choose the skill before play starts.
Interesting.
So I guess at this point, what was the goal that Nico was working towards?
Yeah, this seems like a...
It would have been recovery of the artifact for the organization. Like he's pretty much dedicated to their cause.
I feel like
I wasn't sure.
he did that to join the organization, to be a part of the organization, and advance the organization's goals, not just recover the artifact.
But I think that was
the belief would be something
also,
like advance the organization's goals.
Right, but he had that belief for the vast
Yeah.
majority of this
Yep.
scenario.
Well, now
So,
it becomes an
okay.
extra belief. You can choose another one. It doesn't take up that slot
Right.
anymore.
Oh, he gets an extra belief?
But that
No, I don't.
he doesn't.
I didn't
But
think so.
that trait has to work off of a belief or goal he has.
Yep.
So I
I will actually say yes, then, because it makes sense now.
Okay. Congratulations,
Good
you're
job.
driven.
you
Nico
are-
has the driven trait, which I think, if as Primarch was saying, like, I think whenever Nico comes back into play, we have to decide what skill that call-on is when
Yeah.
we go over bits.
Yeah, yeah.
And
At the
and
beginning of each
if-
session, it'll tie into.
Right, and if Nico doesn't cover that at that point, he can't, like, BS his way into a
Yeah.
call-on
Yeah,
at any
definitely.
point.
Okay.
I'm going to guess
Definitely,
it will be Persuade.
He is really good with his bow, though. If he can,
yeah, it could be
It
anything
could be Bow as well.
based off his current goal.
yeah,
So, but I guess that'll be more of something for Golden or Primarch to worry about, because they'll be the next GM
Okay.
if
Yep.
Nico comes back.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I just wanted
Unless
to
you
clear
kill
that up.
off your own character while you're GM.
yes.
Did,
That's our
did
next
a
mission.
meteor hit
Investigate
him?
the murder of Nico.
So I guess
Where were you, Golden? What did you say?
Did a meteor hit Nico? Did
No, he
Nico's
it's
new PC
possible.
kill Nico?
he was.
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
we'll find out.
It'll
We'll play to
probably be
find
up
out.
to like what happens
To
at
the
the beginning of
organization.
the next session, and
Oh yeah.
what they're going to have him doing while he's off screen.
So I'll just point fingers at him and say it's all Nico's fault.
Yeah.
right. So
Probably largely true.
I guess we can move to the next
The next character.
which I opened up as Lord Edwayne Whalefson.
Okay.
I guess one big thing I got from Lord Edwayne is that he seemed very detached from everything. And to that end, I was thinking of like something like a character trait kind of like aloof, where he's sort of separated from everything. That's kind of the vibe I got. But I don't know if you guys had something different, or because we've totally had different takes sometimes.
Yeah. I think Lord Edwin is the most complicated character of all of us.
Okay.
I actually wrote down Aloof as one of the character traits I thought might apply. So
Okay. That is your bird
I'm
is
sorry.
interrupting my train of thought.
I literally have
What's your bird's
covered
name?
up.
I actually don't know what your bird's name is.
It's Purdy. My sister named him. We were 5 years old at the time. I'm sorry. I covered him up, but it does not work.
Now he's just angry. Okay. Zen, what do you think? I'm still thinking.
Well, you don't have to pick one. You could just sort of say like,
Just okay.
what's
Yeah,
your
we
take,
just,
your
like,
take on
We're
it?
not nominating yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah. How
I
do you
like-
see Edwayne? What
yeah.
what strikes you?
I like aloof, but given the fact that he seems to be like wanting to like both make a name for himself, just not that isn't to do with his family name, and also the fact that he sells artifacts to the highest bidder, I'm thinking something more along the lines of mercantile.
Okay. I could say almost like a. This could be the wrong term, but
Like
I don't even
he's
know
like
if
an
this,
entrepreneur, I guess.
yeah, but also like I don't know if this is a term like in Canada or anything, but like almost like a scalper, right? Or
I've heard of it. I'm actually not that familiar with it.
like with like scalps tickets and stuff, like just someone who
Yeah, it's someone who has precious
Oh.
goods that sells them on the sly for probably more than they're worth.
yeah.
My friend does that, actually. So yeah, since he's previously,
Oh yeah, this sort of mercantile type thing I can sort of see.
like he has a kingdom and he goes to it when he needs to, but for the most part, I think he tends to strike out on his own. Is that right, Golden?
I mean,
But
he's very driven in the sense that he does what he wants to do. That's actually the reason why I said I didn't want to start off as a member of an organization, because I thought I wanted to play out how his goals either align with the organization, so he helps them, or they don't align, and then there's conflict between him and the organization, even if he's working for them.
That sounds like an entrepreneur to me, honestly.
How do I behave
but-
like an entrepreneur? Like,
Well,
that's
not
so.
like
I guess
Like
You're
like an
stereotypical-
opportunist.
what
Maybe?
what
you're
yeah
an opportunist, but the thing about a typical entrepreneur, my dad is one. Like they want to tend to stay solo, or if they have other people working with him, it's very few.
So I guess here's a clarifying point, right? Like you with the idea of entrepreneur or mercantile, it's something beyond like greedy, right? Because like I know like a few people's instincts or things where like if I see money or a chance to get money,
Yeah.
I want that. But that's not really something we saw with Learned Wayne. So the idea was like more of like, can I sell something or can I
I'm trying to figure out, like,
there's like a different level here.
how can
that's
I
what
actually
entrepreneurship
play
is.
this in the future?
I might be interpreting entrepreneurship wrong, but to me, the idea of an entrepreneur combines opportunist with wanting to make money with wanting to strike out on your own.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm not too worried about saying how you display traits,
Okay.
because in our conversation we're saying you're doing this already.
Yeah.
All right. I don't really understand it, but I'm fine with it.
He's not like you don't have your own small business. It's not like your traditional entrepreneur, but it is in terms of ideology exactly the same, in my opinion.
Okay.
There's a better word for it, and it's just escaping me at the
Yeah,
moment.
Yeah.
Thesaurus.com. Thesaurus.com.
So, yeah, I took-
I could sort of see where opportunist
Yeah.
is
But-
is there,
I mean,
but
he's-
I'm not
but
sure
he's doing
about
it like-
the whole- Go for it.
It does seem like he's doing it to make a name for himself. Like maybe that's more the focus.
Well, isn't there the glory hound thing or something? Or like,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
a watered down version of that, right? Like,
Yeah, because Glory Hound is like,
yeah.
charging into the fray. Like,
Is there any
It's more
sort
a-
of like treasure hunter trait at all? Because if there
There's
is,
a trait
I think
called scavenger, but that is not what you guys are describing.
that's not the same scavenger thing.
There's the
Okay.
trait called mercenary, but we already discussed that he's not really behaving mercenary. I mean, that's why
Okay.
I think you guys are picking up on the undertones of mercenary, and we're not there yet. We need something before mercenary.
I'm looking up. I'm looking for synonyms for entrepreneur. I'm not finding much. Manager, producer, backer, contractor, executive, administrator, founder, organizer, promoter, undertaker.
well, I guess one thing Zen
Undertaker,
was saying was
maybe.
almost like wants to be known, or like that sort of thing. I really think like a watered down glory hound thing kind of fits what we're saying, but I don't know what that would be as a
Are you thinking of it in an
More-
academic
more-
sense?
maybe-
as like a descriptive word that's active.
Are you thinking about it in an
Yeah.
academic sense or purely a money sense?
more of a
Something
renowned
about someone. Yes,
sense.
renowned sense. Someone who cares about the reputation.
Yeah.
So, is there anything to do with that?
Oh man.
Well, we could even just sort of say, like, right, like, you could almost have, like, in quotes, like, make a name for
Yeah.
himself or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Prestige, prominence, stature, notoriety, even. Those are all similar words
Someone
that
who
might.
seeks
esteem
Renown.
or eminence.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just one word.
Yeah, I'm just reading out words. I'm wondering if there are any, as I don't have the trait list, are there any traits that incorporate any of those words?
Someone who seeks renown is a renowner.
Renowner? Down
Literally.
under?
That's such a terrible
Interesting.
word, but it's actually a word.
Yeah, it really is. Someone didn't have any imagination.
No.
Maybe there's synonyms for that.
A master list of traits on burningwheel.com. Oh. 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 Okay. Oh, we lost Sith.
Oh well. Yeah, this is a hard one. Like pinning down.
Pinning down the exact, like, yeah.
Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's a word in English. Besides renowner, which is the worst word ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's someone who seeks to advance themselves socially.
That must be a thing. Like,
Yeah.
Person who seeks advancement by any means.
Woohoo, I'm back.
Welcome back.
welcome back.
Did
We
anyone have
We haven't found the exact sim. What does that mean?
We found the word
What is that?
renowner, but it's so awful, none of us want to use it.
name Albert?
Renowner.
Renowner.
Oh,
Oh, that's
renowner.
good. So somnambulous actually just means sleepwalker. Turns out.
Yep.
Interesting.
There's the trait called Rain Man. If the character can see it, count it.
Have we? You might already have it, Golden, but I see the touch of madness trait. That
You could suggest that.
I want to read the description, but that seems with the shaking of the collar and the "you must believe me."
Yeah.
After
That's
this
just
speech.
a character
I did
trait,
that
so there's
to
no
play up your failure on the.
Yeah, that's true, but
the soothing
it definitely
gratitudes.
seems possible.
I will be taking a instinct going forward to act in a sane and rational manner. But if you want to give me a trait and a counter to that, you're more than welcome to.
So I guess, yeah.
What if we just get like an affinity for blank
I
trait?
said obsessed, maybe, for that. Yeah. No, affinity 4 is a 4-point.
That's a powerful trait, but it is also, if we choose the right word, does encompass his entire character, or not his entire, but a significant portion of his character.
Yeah.
It might be worth it.
So I guess, yeah, so if we can figure out, like, just a wording for, like, trying to get the name out, or trying to do better with business or something, maybe? Like, I guess when you were saying with that Primarch, like, was money the goal or just reputation? And I want to say reputation.
I think so. They're both goals, but I think, it's definitely reputation.
Right. So maybe we can just say character trait version of Glory Hound, because we can't figure out a better name for it.
Reputation hound. Just
A reputation hound, yeah.
Or eminence hound. Like, there are shorter words. Let me
There's
look.
the poised trait, but I don't think that's really what you're describing.
Prestige. That's pretty easy to say and short.
Prestige Hunter.
Yeah.
I'd be
Do you
okay with
think
that.
Prestige hound.
he has prestige, or that he just seeks it?
Well, I think your family name has prestige, but you specifically mentioned a bunch that you wanted to sort of make a name for yourself.
Right, like when Sith had Ivan say, "Oh, he's just some backwater noble," I laughed because that's exactly the truth.
Yeah. Prestige, fame / influence. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Or a prestige seeker.
yeah, I think that might be it.
Okay.
Okay. So was there anything on your side, Golden, you wanted to add for Lord Edwin or
Yeah.
Dark Up or Nominate.
I feel like I want him to have a trait regarding his belief that he needs to serve the people. And I saw the noblesse oblige trait, but I feel like that may be too powerful. So I would like suggestions for something a little bit less powerful.
Let me get to that real quick.
337.
Born in nobility, raised with the idea that not only is he privileged, but he's obligated to perform his duty to society. It adds a fourth belief. Okay.
That's why I say I want something
Right.
leading to that.
But it's very structured.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll see if I can give it to.
Guessing there's not like a governor trait or anything like that.
We could just make one.
It has any mechanical means.
At this point,
I was looking for something that's not necessarily a character trait. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with, I'm going to be playing this out more, assuming the campaign contains politics where I can express these beliefs. So I'm okay with it being a character trait right now.
See, that's the other thing, though. Like, this should be like more about what we've seen rather than what's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I feel like I have played this out in the game, though.
Okay.
But what's coming is that I'm gonna advance upon it. So I'm okay with it being a lower level of this trait. So, like, just governor or would be fine.
So would something like obligated or something be what you're looking for, or?
Sure, obligated would work.
Steward, perhaps? Something like that?
Yeah, sure, something like that. As long as we're clear, it's like politically a steward and not the position of being a steward. Like steward of the people, that'd be perfect.
There are a bunch of aura ones, but those all seem super powerful. I'm not sure if.
Yeah, those are basically
like a lot of stuff we haven't really talked about.
Okay.
With auras, magic, and whatnot. So.
No, auras are like they're not just social, like auras or impressions.
No, it's like actual social magical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, like your presence has some tinge of the arcane.
But also there's a skill called aura reading, which like if you roll high enough, like the guy just tells you what his intents and beliefs are.
Wow. Interesting.
I mean, I could ask for the trade that lets me use artifacts, but apparently you guys have a system for that.
So I zoned out for a sec. What is the right trait we're looking for to describe what aspect of Lord Edwin?
Yeah, the aspect where he feels responsible for his people, and he works to ensure their benefit.
So, something like duty bound, or
maybe,
that
would work.
That seems to nail that. Right.
There's also dutiful. I see. I don't know if that's the same.
Oh, you don't have to limit it.
Yeah,
you don't have to limit it to what's there.
Right, and you can even take the character trait and level it up in your head if you want to be more powerful, or level it down.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I like duty bound.
Okay.
Just one of the options.
So,
is that the one you're suggesting, Golden?
Yeah, that's what I'll suggest.
Okay.
Was there any other thoughts in this regard?
I was going to suggest before, perhaps Bookworm as a trait.
He did say. Actually, I have an idea. Hold on. He did stay up for like 2 days straight. Where's a trait regarding that? Early riser is not
sleepless.
Yeah, basically.
Patient.
So like
fortitude.
Like insomniac.
Precisely insomniac, actually.
Is that really like 2 days
Yeah,
out of
that's
3
character
months you
trait,
stayed
yep.
awake? Is that
I imagine that's probably not the only time. And also,
no? Okay,
It wasn't like you needed to. You just did anyways.
right. He was so
I-
worried about what was going on. He stayed up.
I
And in
think
addition,
that might key into duty bound, though. I mean, he was doing it because he has that drive to like do what he has to do.
could be both. The other option is Touch of Madness, which is also definitely a thing that I feel that he has displayed. In
Oh, that
this
definitely was
arc.
part of what kept him up.
Yeah. I think that probably makes more sense then.
Okay.
That is a good sort of dark side of his duty bound trait.
I'm not sure if the bookworm trait as read is something I would go for yet, but maybe like a lesser version of this I would be partial to.
As a character trait right now?
Well, I mean,
Because-
the reason he was staying up all those nights was he was actively working on researching those runes and everything. So I was counting that sort of as the library in this sense.
Yeah. As much as there could be a library in this game, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Right,
also
but, like,
referencing
also-
those notes. Like,
There's been a few times where like there was instances to read or do more information, and like he didn't take it. So when Ernest got sick,
yeah, during downtime.
or there was a few times when you were doing stuff with Yvonne or some of the other ones, like you were doing prep stuff, but instead of like, or before that, there was more focus on other things rather than reading and understanding what was going on.
Okay.
To the end of the die level trait bookworm thing. That's what my argument is for right now. Not
Mm-hmm.
any nomination for that. Because the bookworm gives the option of characters with this trait reduce their aptitude for learning academic skills by 1.
Okay. So hold on.
So I still have the one Primarch listed as Prestige Seeker.
Yes,
I still have that listed as a nomination. So I guess
we have
and
3 nominations.
I'm still offering Aloof, and Golden's version is Duty Bound,
Mm-hmm.
and so
I think
I
that
was
makes
kind
sense.
of thinking about something like academic, which I think is what Zen was going for.
Yeah.
Maybe just academic, like if we would just want to do a character trait.
But it's, I was personally saying why I probably wouldn't go straight for the die trait version unless someone convinces me.
Yeah, exactly.
But Zen can still totally nominate the die trait level for you guys.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm thinking it
Oh,
fits. I mean,
Golden can vouch for it if he wants as well.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just saying,
can't
I'm not
imagine
I'm
any
not
more
convinced
reading I
at that
could
level.
do. The main reason I didn't do Bookworm more is because we had disagreements about what I had to do to practice certain skills. So then I changed my mind about what I wanted to do there. I can't imagine, like, the trait is about, as whenever he can, he's trying to get information out of books.
Right.
And I think that's definitely what happened.
and I think it fits his character in other ways too. I mean, it embodies
Yeah.
the
There's
academic
definitely-
spirit that he's.
There's definitely something there. But all right. So
yeah, well, I'll toss it on. It seems relevant to me anyway. We
Sweet.
can decide whether
Okay.
or not it is in a vote.
Okay. So the last one is spell form?
Yep.
Okay. So let's do the voting. So each one needs to be unanimous. Mine is golden.
Okay.
For the character of Lord Edwin Wilson. The first one is, I believe, a character trait for Prestige Seeker.
Okay.
It makes sense to me. I'll say yes.
Yep.
I mean, I think due to the fact that we all spent so much time trying to figure out the appropriate wording for it, we all know that it was there.
Yes. That's true.
Nice.
Okay.
That one's a yes.
The second one is a character trait, aloof. Which I raised. That was my suggestion because a lot of the times he sort of. I guess you guys were reading it differently. This might be more of like the bookworm stuff you were talking about, Zen, or like he would not do certain things, or like the way he would address certain people would be different. This might be going more towards like because he's a noble and the others weren't noble and stuff, but like it always seemed like there was a air gap of some sort in his interactions with people, or then he wouldn't go towards others and stuff.
Yeah, it fits in the sense that like he was in charge and held himself apart from the rest.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You know,
I vote yes, especially if you count the very first session where after everything went wrong and the boulders collapsed, Ernest was the one who really took charge, even though I wasn't in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree as well.
Okay. So
Also,
that one's good.
we need to spell prestige right.
So
Is
That's
that's
spelled prestige.
so yes to that.
prestige. Yes.
Okay.
Prestidigitation
one-
seeker.
Yes.
The next one, I believe, is a character trait, duty bound, with the option of that eventually becoming something similar to Nobly's oblige, or something like that, or something like that.
Yeah.
As it is in its current state, I vote yes. I will not want it to get any stronger until we see that in play some more. But yeah, as it is, yes.
I didn't really see a lot of it come into effect in the play, and I didn't, like, there wasn't, like, a lot of... Yeah, I
Is that true,
Yeah.
though? He desperately wanted to avoid a war with his country. Did we lose him?
I guess
Okay.
well, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
I can't see your camera, and so...
It's been circling. I have no idea why. Like,
Okay.
the camera is...
Yeah.
I've been turning it off and back on a lot.
Like, if you think about it all the way back at the beginning, when we were firing the guys, I said, we either have to kill all of them or kill none of them. Because otherwise
we
that would be
failed
war.
that
And I was
so
considered
badly.
about that. I was concerned about that because of this kind of a trait.
Yeah. So,
So all the way
what do you
from the
think?
beginning, I was on this.
But also, I guess, like, with, like, duty bound, like, and the no, like, the perspective going with that, with, like, being a noble and being in charge of people, I didn't really get that vibe. I got more of the smuggler, let's get my name out vibe. And while I think it's interesting that those conflict together, I don't think I got it a lot. I'm gonna say no at
Okay.
this point, because I don't really get the duty stuff yet on a trait level. It's come up a few times, but I don't think it was played out
Right.
to that level.
These
Unless,
have to be unanimous, correct? So
yeah.
Alright.
Unless, like, did you want to try and convince me as well, Zen? Or
I was actually going to say that, like, The only time I saw Edwin fighting for his people, which is what the essence of this is. Like, during downtime, he did some governance stuff. And the whole thing with Yvonne. Like, those are the only two instances I can point to where he was like, this is going to adversely affect the population of my kingdom. And I think he could have done more in that respect, but yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, I can be sold on it if someone can point to more instances of that.
Well, it has to be unanimous. I think that there is a little bit of overlap with my other lordly traits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already voted, but
Yeah. Well, I was kind of on the fence along with Zen, where I was like, if you can, I mean, I kind of see what you're talking about. I'm not saying completely no, but I'm not saying like this seems like an inherent trait at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it certainly seems like you're working toward it, but I don't know that it's manifested enough at this point.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's like not to say that it's not the case at all. It's just that the situation hasn't come up for it.
Right.
So you guys are talking about being active. Like, we're looking at doing political stuff, right? Like, there's a different kind of activity when you're looking at being political than there is when you're have a sword or something that physically needs to be done. But that's okay. We'll just keep that in mind going forward.
All right. I think now there's the last one for Lord Edwin was Bookworm as the die trait. And I think, given the fact that we were kind of like, he spent multiple days in a row researching stuff in the context of an artifact or in the context of his current thing, and he sort of had academic leanings the whole time. I'm closer to saying yes for this, but I'm still sort of, I'm not sure where Primarch is on this one.
I'm going no. We're Bookworm.
Okay. Right. At least on the die trait level?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
so that one is a no as well. Okay, so the two we voted for yes are two character traits. Prestige, Seeker, and Aloof.
Okay.
And that's...
Well, can I recommend a trait I should lose?
Yeah.
We're going to do that afterwards.
We're going to do that after? Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I have opinions on that for everyone as well.
Okay, let's continue.
I was doing gain everything first. So the last one is Earnest.
I've got one right off the bat. Back-breaking labor.
What is it?
It's a call on for power or fort when performing hard labor. It's restricted to Orcish and Manish. So.
Right, and that was something that went through the whole time because, session 1.
Yeah.
He did ditch digging.
Sure.
He did 4 days worth of,
Yeah,
stuff.
And I grew up as a slave, get used to that.
Yeah,
and I powered 6.
I think while there's a higher level trait for this, I'm pretty much for everything I've suggested as a GM, everything's been character level. So the character level version of what I want to say for Ernest is stoic. Unless you guys think the higher level version of that comes into play.
What are the two versions? What's the difference?
I need to go to it, but for the character level one, just Ernest has always just been sort of okay, the idea of nothing phases this dude. He just kind of all right, this is what's happening. Let's go with it. And that's what I've been doing with it. But here we go. 347. It's a die trait. The stoic character simply does not flinch in the face of danger. Reduce overall hesitation by 1. Which
Makes sense.
I'm on the fence about that, but like overall, like, you know, he never got really emotional or reacted to anything. Like everything's just been very.
I cut off a guy's leg and was like, oh well.
Yeah, you cut off a guy's leg, and like I thought that would help. Like,
Sure. I was going to say merciless, but I think stoic is the same idea.
You were going to go for what?
Merciless.
If I tried to kill Nico without talking him down first, then I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I tried to talk him down first.
Yeah, if the stoicism goes much further, I'd have to start voting for like sociopath.
I think stoicism is right.
Well, like, you know, yeah, it is one of those things where, like, you know, like he does intimidate and try and command people. So, like, there is emotion and stuff happening, but like a lot of the times it's been very like controlled, right, or something like that, or at least that's what I'm trying to go for with what I'm trying to nominate.
Well, I was thinking something like brute or brutal.
You have brutish, right?
I don't think I do.
Nico does.
Yeah, Nico does.
My bad.
Do not, because my cultural traits are from the continent. And Ernest is very different from most continentals, which is one of the things. Most continentals.
I was thinking about cold-blooded too, but cold-blooded and merciless are kind of redundant.
So brute itself is a powerful die trait. I don't quite know what it does, according to the probably outdated trait list on burningwheel.com. But there's also brutal and brutish efficiency, which is a thing. Or bruiser.
Brutish efficiency is not.
It's an orc trait.
For you.
That's only for orcs? Okay, I can't see that from here.
Yeah, it's a call on for siege engineer.
Brutal is a thing with 2 levels. Again, on my.
I don't see anything about what you're talking about.
Okay, this must be way more outdated than.
You may be talking
there's a character trait for brutal.
There is a character trait for brutal. Okay.
Yeah, it might be in the
character burner,
adventure burner, or character burner.
According to this, brutal 2 is a call-on point from the monster burner.
Okay.
Some other things like that.
The monster burner traits are definitely not for characters.
Yeah. Okay.
There is bruiser.
Bruiser is a thing. What does it describe?
This one says it's meant for Marines, but basically it's a call on for brawling. It just means you fight a lot of people. The direct thing is the Marine spend his days at sea to bet and then a brawl and take your bets, gents. So I don't know if that's more of a fighting pit kind of call on or what, but I mean, it does fit Ernest in that he's ready to get in there and mix it up with his hands.
True. I did sort of punch. I did make the guy who held his dagger to my throat regret it. First thing is, as soon as that.
I think that's more of a like brutal or brutish or something like that than
actually
the other one, bruiser.
Vindictive,
in the sense of like,
I think might be a thing for Ernest because. When he's not
there's
following
definitely
orders,
this idea of like you totally hold a grudge. Like you held a grudge against Nico, you hold a grudge against the guy who pulled a knife on you. Like
he does. He definitely does.
That would make sense to me.
Is that a trait like grudge bearer?
Well, I'm trying to
grudge bearer. Wow.
Yes. No. That's a cool title.
Grudge keeper is a die trait. But it's dwarves only.
I feel like merciless fits you.
Is vindictive a trait?
It is not, but we can make it a character trait.
Yeah, it's a character trait.
Just upgrade it later. Can we upgrade it later if it doesn't exist and just make one?
Making traits is totally a thing.
Yeah, vindictive, having or showing a strong or unreasoning desire for revenge. That seems right.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say something like that at a character level would work.
Okay, so vindictive.
Passing.
Yeah, vindictive is the one I propose then.
Change the color here. Come on.
So who hasn't proposed one yet?
I haven't.
Golden?
Okay, gold.
I'm not sure what is proposed so far.
Backbreaking labor, stoic, and vindictive.
Let me see what
You
isn't
were
covered
saying
by
something
those.
like merciless, though.
Yeah, let's see. I think merciless and vindictive are the same.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I think
That's it.
so. That's some
Um, but we don't have wary for Ernest. I'm going to suggest that. Wary.
Wary?
He always seems to be on the lookout for something, or suspicious of something.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, suspicious is a character trait. I don't know if that means I myself am suspicious or I am suspicious of others, though.
No, it means you're
Like,
suspicious of
especially-
things happening.
Well, especially like after like the orb like poison cloud at you and everything, you're sort of like maybe we shouldn't get like cautious almost, right? Like
Yeah.
I have been that way. Like, that's why I immediately blocked the entrance
Right.
when we were trying to figure out what to do with that person as soon as it occurred to me.
I think these are all
So-
synonyms for wary, so I'm suggesting that.
Metal plate in the skull, according to the wiki, is, or what at least was, a character trait.
I can
Okay,
believe
I'll
it.
try to play that up.
Okay,
well,
it's good.
some traits are definitely just sort of earned, right? Like your sickly trait was earned
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
automatically in play.
Yeah, it sounds like something a GM did to a character.
That's true. Okay.
Or they did them to
So we want to
themselves.
go wary? For the...
Yeah.
Wary or cautious? Which one
Wary.
were you thinking? Wary? Okay.
Yeah, worry.
Okay. So we now have 4.
Okay, so the first one was backbreaking labor, which I will say, yeah, that
I will
totally
say yes.
makes
That
sense to me.
definitely happened.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Was that a character trait? The red one's a character?
No, that was a call on for stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a call on for power and fort, I believe it was.
Oh, really?
When doing, like,
When
When
doing those
doing
specific
shitty
things.
work.
Yeah. It's a call on for a specific.
And it
Wait,
just gives me plus
time.
1 die?
No.
call on for power or fort when performing hard labor. It allows you to break ties and re-roll.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
when doing a laborious
Yes.
work, not just any old
Not
power
just-
or
yeah.
test.
So when you're finally arrested for punching the wrong guy, when you get this vindictive trait, and you're breaking
Yes.
rocks in the prison camp,
Yeah.
you can
I'll be the
re-roll.
best damn rocker.
So
Anyway,
the next
there's-
trait was
Ernest, there's more trees. There's more trees to cut. We have to get
the
another
next-
artifact.
the next trait, which I was still unsure about. I guess we can talk about this as part of the vote. Was mine stoic? So there is a die trait level of this, which would reduce hesitation for Ernest, or there's just the character trait of stoic.
I think you should get the die trade for.
Okay. Zen?
I'm on the fence here. 1 second. Let me actually look at what Stoic says. Character simply does not flinch in the face of danger. Well, that's pretty terse.
Right.
I mean, he never did.
Well,
Yeah, I
unless
think
you
the
count
die
the
trait
orbs. You kind of flinched around the
Right.
orbs.
Like, I kind of want to do this. Like, can we have like a trial run, give it a character one, but like at the next trade vote, it could at that point easily be voted up.
Okay.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I think we could fall back on the old rules of spending fate and stuff, or
Mhm.
spending Artha, and like. Primark, can you point to anything where you spent Artha purely on being
So,
an
Right, but
unflinching
also, like-
badass?
so I have spent 2 Arthas entire everything because I am really bad at rolling 6s, and I only got Persona, my first Persona, at the end of last session. So my 2 artha was spent. One was on an agility test at one point. I think I was learning something. And one was, I think that was my knots, actually. And one was command. I don't know. I think that was for the, like, no, it wasn't for diet fate.
That was for convincing the people the workers not to talk, I think.
So neither of that was related. And that's the only 2 artha I've managed to spend. I have 12 and 4 for Fate and Persona right now.
Right. So
Okay.
I think, also, like, I want to say, like, when I was suggesting this, it was more than just combat. It was, like, just his day-to-day demeanor, right? So, like, I want to say I will vote yes for the character level. But if he could show then later on that this extends to a die trait level, let's go for it. But at this point, character trait.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that decides your vote, Zen, but
Yeah,
if
I would totally go for the character trait, but I just wasn't sure if we should go for the die trait. So yeah,
Right.
I think character trait works.
yeah, you still say yes,
Yep.
Golden, for
Still
the
yes.
character? Okay. So
Okay.
you get character stoic. Alright, so now we have 2 more. Character trait of vindictive. Yes.
Yeah.
Golden?
Yes.
I'll allow you the fate grinding vindictive.
Yeah, I wonder how many
Right.
times that will get me in trouble, guys.
Never get in trouble.
No, of course
Right.
not.
There will be no opportunity
and
to
then-
be vindictive.
And then finally, worry. Worry.
Almost because I voted for stoic, I'm thinking about voting no on wary.
Right. Yeah, I think, like, cautious kind of made sense to me, but I don't know if it's become... I don't think it's become trait level. Like, it might be an instinct level at this point, but I don't think it's, like, an underlying factor. But I understand where it's coming from, but I don't think it's trait yet.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Okay, I would still vote
so
yes.
that's it.
I
So
agree
that is a no.
with all of those results. Because Ernest has no problem wading into danger as long as he can see that danger coming. And yeah.
Okay, and that is all the traits for Ernest. I think we could take like a quick 5-minute break or something, and then we can work on which traits people might want to lose.
Yes.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to change the channel. Thanks, people who are watching. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
We will be.
And we're gone.
Skype hates us. It just seems to get worse.
You really
and
cannot
decaying
see me?
every single week.
Nobody
Yeah,
can
there's
see me?
2 spinning circles right now.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah,
heck?
I've tried to restart my camera.